descent rate nominal.
So the expected descent rate, the expected velocity out of the drogue's nominal. We're right at around 150 miles an hour and already dropping. You can see the drogues now detach.
And there we have confirmation of deployment of the 4 main parachutes.
We are visual on 4 chutes out.
We are visual. 4 main parachutes deployed.
4 main.
So at this point, the main parachutes have deployed. They are inflating, as you can see there on your screen, continuing to slow Dragon down significantly. We are anticipating splashdown in just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
We've already slowed the vehicle down to about 16 miles an hour. It's already less than 1 kilometer in altitude.
Main chute descent rate nominal, passing through 700 meters.
So at this point, Dragon has saved all propulsion systems on
600
board.
meters.
600 meters.
And we're 600 meters above the Gulf of Mexico.
Should be approximately 1:30 from splashdown.
Mission control team here in Hawthorne has reported the precise landing coordinates to the recovery team. They are standing by, ready to go get our space dads.
100 meters.
Just passed about 300 meters. 1 minute till splashdown.
200 meters. We are braced for splashdown.
Copy, brace for splashdown.
So there we heard Bob and Doug reporting that they are bracing for a splashdown. We should be able to see the Gulf of Mexico here in the shot just momentarily, as we're now just about 20 meters off the ocean.
Splashdown.
As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for splashdown.
SpaceX copies and concurs. We see splashdown and mains cut.
Dragon Endeavour has returned home. NASA astronauts Bob and Doug.
On behalf of the SpaceX and NASA teams, welcome back to planet Earth, and thanks for flying SpaceX.
It was truly our honor and privilege to fly in flight of the Crew Dragon and Endeavour. Congratulations, everybody at SpaceX. All good, and we're into section of 4.800.
Thanks for those words, Doug, and we copy that you are into 4.800.
So great news all around there. Our space dads are back on Earth after a 19-hour return journey from space. Dragon Endeavour has splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico, just off the coast of Pensacola, Florida. And on your screen there, you can see our 2 fast boats, and they are indeed fast, racing out to greet Dragon Endeavour as it sits there. The first on there, we can see a view inside the capsule. Bob and Doug looking good. Although the communication was a little choppy, we did hear
Endeavour in 3.1. We show ourselves in stable 1.
And SpaceX copies for vehicle assessment, step 3.1, stable 1. Good news.
Stable 1, essentially, they're upright in the water. Stable 2, Also, another potential where it can be on its side or even upside down. The Dragon does have a water ballast system to keep it upright, where it's able to essentially pump seawater into bladders in the service section of the capsule. But they're upright. We already see the fast boats approaching. They touched down, came right on time at 11:48 a.m. Pacific, 18:48 UTC. Bob and Doug now in the water, and the recovery ops, they've already begun. We already see the fast boats starting to move in. We're still maintaining that good communication back with Bob and Doug and the team here in Hawthorne. Pretty soon we should be getting the go for them to move in, begin their hypergol sniffs, and begin wrangling up those parachutes. But we can see Bob and Doug inside the capsule, back on planet Earth.
Yeah, those fast boats will be moving in to do a couple of things. They'll be performing what's known as a sniffer test. That's essentially to ensure that the air around the vehicle doesn't have any toxic fumes from the hypergolic propellants on board. So once we get the all clear from there, the water recovery lead will give the go for approach, and that's when the first fast boat will actually approach the capsule. Hopefully give a little wave to Bob and Doug through the window, and one of the team members will actually climb on top of Crew Dragon and begin to place the rigging equipment necessary to hoist Dragon out of the water.
Oh, still getting a view from the WB. The airplane flying overhead, it gave us those great views, of really our first views of Bob and Doug re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. From up above. You can see the 4 parachutes in the water. We heard those were cut automatically as expected by Dragon. So for now, the crew just standing by. Again, they're going to stay in their suits, in their seats. We're waiting for all these initial checks.
Dragon, SpaceX, comm check.
As you just heard, Dragon Endeavour has returned home. They are back home to Earth. And from what I can tell, everything was picture perfect.
As textbook all the way, Ed, and right on time, and no problems whatsoever. Yeah. And really a great moment for our space program.
Yeah, so the folks who are maybe just tuning in a little late, what's happening now is the SpaceX crews are on their fast boats. They are now securing the vehicle, the capsule. They are making sure everything looks fine from the outside. Everything's upright. They are out collecting the main parachutes that were also used. We actually just had a shot from NASA there over those parachutes that are surrounding the Dragon capsule. And so Bob and Doug, they are now in the capsule. They are going to hang out there. They're probably experiencing that sort of bobbing effect in the water that they were a little bit nervous about, possibly getting a little seasick out there. But the communication with the aircraft was a little bit spotty during the descent. We heard NASA and SpaceX mention that, but everything looked to be, as you mentioned, it could not have been a nicer day, a nicer sequence of events to lead to this splashdown. As we mentioned, the first splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico, just off of our coast. So it's going to take a while before the ship, I believe the Go Explorer ship, Endeavor ship, will be out there to collect the vehicle, lifting the ship out of the water, and it'll be at that point when the astronauts, Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, will be exiting the spacecraft.
Actually, it may be Go Navigator.
Go Navigator, excuse me.
Sorry.
Endeavor, a lot of names that we're trying to keep track of here. Go Navigator ship.
All right, so the Endeavour capsule is out there. The what they call the fast boats are going out there to prepare the capsule to be placed on board this vessel, Ed, where the astronauts will be taken out of the capsule, and then they will either be taken by helicopter back to Pensacola, or they will stay on that ship as it brings the capsule back to NAS Pensacola, and then shortly after they get to Pensacola, those astronauts will be flown to the Houston area in Texas. But they have been at the space station for 9 weeks, and are, I'm sure, glad to be back safely down on planet Earth.
Yeah, it's, their process of sort of recovering is going to begin immediately. They're going to be having a lot of assistance just getting out of the spacecraft. as their muscles have probably suffered some level of atrophy from just experiencing living in a weightless environment for the last 9 weeks. And that's common for any astronaut or anyone who spends that amount of time in zero-G. But again, then they'll be starting the process of going through their final checks, and that's what they've begun to do now. You'll notice those fast boats sort of making passes, and what they're doing now is examining every side of that spacecraft. And you notice it appears black in our screen. That is because it has become a little bit charred from the very hot the burning of re-entry. But that heat shield held up nicely and led to a picture-perfect splashdown. One thing that they were also, even when it comes to the water, to make sure that the vehicle actually stays bobbing and stays floating at the top there on the surface.